All right, guys, what's happening? What's happening? It is Tuesday, May 31st, 2022, the last day of May. And so this morning, I thought it would be appropriate, being that it's the last day of May. We're clipping off months here in 2022 like crazy. Time is flying by as it always does, to talk about the concept of time and how we are all running out of time. Like, what is it that you want to accomplish that you haven't accomplished yet? What is it that's on your list of goals for 2022 that you have yet to make an impact on? All of these things are important. And I think sometimes, we either go crazy, aggressive, attacking things in our lives, or we take our foot off the gas. We think we have plenty of time, and we can't seem to find that balance of pursuit. So that's what we're going to talk about this morning. Let's get started. It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up. All right, what's happening, guys? And happy Tuesday to you. I hope you guys had an amazing holiday weekend. I hope you guys got to spend some time with family. I hope you guys spent some time thinking about what Memorial Day is really all about. We live in the greatest country in the world, and I wake up every day so grateful for all the men and women who sacrifice for our freedom, and especially those who sacrificed everything. So I hope you guys had an amazing weekend, and I hope you took the time to think about that yourselves. You know, there's a lot going on in the world, and sometimes we get lost thinking that, America isn't quite as great as what it really is. And I will always be that person that is eternally optimistic about our country and about what it stands for and about what it means to be an American. So, but to kick us off this morning, I want to talk about time. We are all running out of time, guys. We think, in a lot of ways, we have this crazy extreme sense of time where we are either all in, just pounding away at it, trying to make progress in our lives. We're trying to make progress in our businesses. We're trying to achieve goals. We're trying to do everything we can to get what it is that we want. So that's one side of the coin. And the other side of the coin is we start to make progress. We start to actually accomplish some of the things that we set out to accomplish. And we get a little comfortable, don't we? We make some progress. And, I see people all the time, make progress. They climb up the hill, and then sure enough, they start sliding back down the hill because they take their eye off the ball. And so this morning's title is You're Running Out of Time. And so what are you running out of time to do? There's so much, man. Life is so short. It's unpredictable. I see people all the time that end up in situations because they haven't really thought about exactly what time means to them. They end up looking back and saying, I should have, I could have, I would have, if I would have known. And, I think it's important for us to process that because, we all know there's tangible things that we believe we know the value of, money, material things, homes, cars, etc. We know the value of those. Time is always the thing that will elude us when it comes to value. How do we value it? Because we can't buy more of it. And, interesting enough, when you read the articles, you read the stories of those people who are, at the end of their life, the people who are 90 something years old. I just read one about a person that would just turned 100, and they wrote about their experience in life. And time is always one of the things that they mention, not having enough of it, wishing they would have used it differently, wishing they would have weighted time differently than everything else. And so I'm here this morning delivering this message to remind all of you of the value of time and how much of it we don't have, and so when you think about that, it's not about, being morbid or thinking about the end of your life or anything like that. It's just about having immense value placed on the most important thing that you possess, and that is the next second, the next minute, the next hour, the next day, the next week. How are you going to spend it? How are you going to spend it? What are you going to do? Are you going to take it serious when you get into the office this morning and you sit down at your computer? What is it that you're going to do? Do you have the week planned out? Or are you taking time and just throwing it to the wind? Because if you don't have a plan and you're not organized and you're not intentional about how you use your time, you will have a lot of regrets. If you value money more than you value time, and there's no balance to that, you will have regrets about how you look back on your life. When you look at life, everything is a balance. And so when you try to find that balance of time, how you spend it, where you spend it, it's always a challenge. I talk about this all the time. Being a parent is one of the most difficult things to balance when it comes to work and family and, providing for your family, but having enough balance to spend time with them. I don't think you ever get that right. You're always fighting that back and forth balance of how to do that. Being a father, as I always say, is the most insecure position I hold in life because I always want to spend more time, but I also have to figure out how to balance it all. I have to figure out how to get enough rest, how to have enough time to think, how to spend time with my wife, how to have enough time to spend on business. But I always am extremely aware of how much time I have. I was just talking this morning. My daughter's 9 years old. She'll be 10 years old this year. I am acutely aware of how much time I have with her, how much time I don't have with her as time clips by. So what is that for you? Have you misspent your time in areas of your life where you want to be able to get that back? The good news is you're still breathing. You're watching this show. You have an opportunity to do that. But you better not wait because you don't know how much time you have. And it's time to take action. It's time to get your life in order. It's time to think about what is really important, man. What is really important? And the issue that I see with so many people is that they only look at the 6 inches that's right in front of their face. They don't start with the end in mind, and they don't think about what's really important. And if today was their last day, how would they feel about that? Did they make the right decisions? Or were there things they would do differently if they knew they only had today left? I watched Ed Milet's talk last week. He launched a new book. If you guys haven't bought it yet, it's called The Power of One More. And if the book is even remotely similar to the keynote that Ed gave at his own book launch, talking about the power of one more day, one more hour, one more of anything that you have and how you use it, it matters. And I think that so often we're running so fast through life that we don't actually think about what the end looks like, about what we really want to check the boxes of. Think about that. What is it that's most important to you? Because I would argue that no matter how poorly you have used time to this point in your life, there's an opportunity to correct the course. There's an opportunity to get it right. It takes thought, takes discipline, takes saying no to a lot of things. It takes sacrifice, giving something to get some time back, giving up something to get some time back in some cases. Whatever that is for you, think about it, because time is the thing that eludes us the most. When we look back, we think, man, we would have, we should have, we could have used it differently. So anytime I get a long weekend, get some time to think and relax, these are the things that come to my mind. Am I using it correctly? Am I using it to the best of my ability? And I would say, compared to 5 years ago, I'm using time exponentially better. And I have a much better perspective of how valuable it truly is. But am I using it to the best of its ability? Do I really have the perspective to look down the road and figure out how to reverse engineer things better? The more time I spend thinking about it, the better I get. The conversations that I have with those people who are mentors to me help me refocus on it. Help me understand what's important. So what's important to you? Truly, what's important to you? And are you dedicating enough time? Are you figuring out a way in your own life to maneuver your life so that you can do more of whatever it is that just came to your mind? Because you can't take anything with you, guys. But you can leave a lot behind. And I would argue that anybody that's important to you, anything that's important to you, would rather have your time than anything else that you could leave behind. So think about that. What is it that's truly important? And how do you rearrange your life to put some priority on that? Always, it will take sacrifice. Either you sacrifice to get what you want, or what you want becomes the sacrifice. When you spend time with those things that are most important to you, you will fill your life instantly. You will fill it up instantly, man. And you'll start to realize the priorities. They'll rearrange themselves in your life. What you thought was important may not be so important. But you're running out of time. You have no idea how much time you have left. And I listened to Ed Milet's talk about his father passing away. And man, it really got me, man, because he had the opportunity. He knew that his dad was sick, had the opportunity to know, in a lot of ways, what was happening. Not all of us get that gift. So what does that look like for you? And how can you take action today to put yourself in the best situation relative to time? Well, the first thing I would encourage you to do is to plan out your days, and not just your work day. When I start coaching people, a lot of times I ask them about their organization. How do they organize themselves? And the first thing they do is show me their work schedule. And I ask them, what about everything else? When are you taking your wife out to dinner? When are you spending time with your children? When are you making phone calls to those people that matter the most to you? Well, I fit that stuff in. Well, no, you don't. If it's not written down and it's not planned, then it's not intentional. No, you don't. Or at a minimum, you don't fit it in as much as you should. So make a list of those things that are important, those people that are important, and make sure it gets done. Be organized, be intentional. And you will find that time is able to multiply. One of the greatest gifts that I've discovered in life is that time is actually able to be multiplied. But it takes you being acutely aware of what's going on around you, being intentional, being disciplined, making the right decisions of where you spend your time and where you don't, more importantly. So many people that I watch just waste time away, man. Doing absolutely nothing meaningful. Watching television for hours and hours a day. And then talking about what they watched on television for hours and hours more. To each their own. Maybe that's important to somebody. But to me, there's so many other things that take priority. So many other things. So those priorities are personal to you. They're personal to each individual. But if you don't spend time thinking about what those priorities are, you will never get them right. So I encourage you this week, as you go into the last day of May here, two things. Number one, close out May strong. Have a plan for today. What do you need to wrap up? What is it that's hanging out there? What do you need to close out so that you can finish the 5th month of 2022 strong? Secondly, have a plan, guys. The first day of June is tomorrow. When we go from winter to spring, we go from one season to the next, from May to June. You best have a plan of how you're going to attack the month of June. How are you going to attack the year of 2022? Hopefully you made that plan back in January. If you didn't, now would be a great time to revisit that. But time is everything, guys. That's your perspective for this morning. Think about it. Time is everything. How much of it do we have? How much of it don't we have? And how can you find a way to multiply it? How can you live your life in a way where you feel like you have enough time to get a lot of stuff done? Go all in, guys. Figure out this part of your life because you will be so glad you did. Time is everything. Treat it as such. Wishing you guys an amazing Tuesday. Hope you guys have a great start back to your week. And I hope you have a great rest of your day here. And I hope this made you think this morning. I hope somebody out there needed to hear this. If you did, please share it out to your pages. If you're listening on the podcast, click that button that says share episode and send it to somebody. We continue to get more and more and more downloads and views and things like that. So appreciate you guys for that. And I will see you again tomorrow morning. Same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life, and then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.